So everyone at this point should be able to see the LiquidMobile dashboard. LiquidMobile is a responsive web-based app that extends mission-critical analytics onto any mobile device. And as compared to a static pitch book, modern technologies like ours allow CIOs and portfolio managers to communicate the drivers of risk, performance, shadow NAV with investors, right from an iPad. So on a desktop, on an iPad, an iPad mini. As important, the historical portfolio and market data that's powering our analysis is maintained on your behalf. This is the dashboard, and from here you can customize a view from a library of metrics and place them in an arrangement that makes the most sense to you. Here, I've created a portfolio summary that you might use with an investor to convey the performance composition and risk-return profile of your fund as of right now. Or we can do it on a historical date that you specify. When we expand some of the dashboard widgets, we allow some deeper dives into the data. Here, the portfolio summary widget shows metrics that substantiate the NAV or mark-to-market value of your fund, as well as other key data points with potential investors. This goes a long way in proving that the most important aspects of your business are calculated by a third party, objective source, and audited for accuracy. As we scroll through to sector exposure, we can see how your portfolio is exposed to the different sectors. This includes the ability to drill into the results and view how each holding in the fund contributes to that exposure. If we then look at yearly returns provides returns for the fund on both a monthly and yearly basis. So we can toggle between the two. From here, you can view the returns over different time horizons and since inception. You can also augment this with a monthly view of performance that provides investors with a more granular view of how you're performing month over month. After viewing your performance in absolute terms, the benchmark performance widget allows you to compare your performance against the benchmarks that you and your investors select, again, over different time horizons. As we look at performance statistics, again, building off of the benchmarks, we show some fundamental analysis that provides investors with an understanding of the portfolio's risk profile for standard deviation, annual return, Sharpe ratio, beta, alpha, any of these statistics. And again, we are comparing the fund to the benchmarks that you've selected. If we want to get a view for what's within the portfolio, the top gainers widget shows insight into the top holdings contributing to the fund's performance. And here we can drill into the top 5, the top 10. We can look at all of them and see where our gainers and losers are separated. And finally, the sector heat map provides a view of the performance across the sectors that are held within the fund. Using a modern tool such as us to supplement the pitch book helps to answer questions about your business at that very moment, and being able to do so while away from the desk demonstrates best practices in client management. And the fact that the data and resulting analysis are accurate and auditable and provided by an objective third party will differentiate your fund from an emerging manager looking to grow their asset. As the conversation with potential investors moves from a summary of your fund to what repeatable controls are in place, I'd like to walk through a few reports that help show how to monitor your investments. Working with a $100 million new launch here in the States, we built this view with their CIO to actively monitor the performance of its master fund as well as several SMAs. Stats such as the NAV, the total P&L, the net long and short exposure, these all detail how the portfolios contribute to P&L over different time horizons. This includes intraday monitoring to model the impact of current market conditions and new transactions have on the fund as new events are confirmed within Liquid. This report is put into practice when the CIO receives a call from an investor who wants to understand the contribution to today's performance of all longs or shorts or specific holdings in the portfolio. Tools such as ours make this information readily available, and this can be recalled on the current date or any previous date. And this type of interaction and the repeatable controls shows institutional investors what they expect from their partners to address their transparency requirements. If we look at something like equity exposure by market cap, this is another report to actively monitor the fund's exposure. In this case, a CIO or a portfolio manager would rely on this to understand what percentage of the fund is made up of large, mid, and small cap companies. More granular analysis on the number of positions and the long, short, gross and net market values by symbol are made available to handle more granular conversations. We provide stress test capabilities as well, and these allow you to communicate how your fund would perform during an extreme event, such as the Asian crisis or Black Monday or the Gulf War of 1990. And as you deal with more savvy investors, you can also model a fund's reaction to changes or shocks in external factors such as fluctuation in FX or interest rates due to Greek bailout or investor expectations that the Federal Reserve are going to raise interest rates or something like that. Liquidity and how you're managing is also very, very important. And after understanding how you monitor the fund, the next question posed during the DDQ will be on the processes in place to liquidate holdings. The equity liquidity report enables you to deal with the stringent liquidity risk requirements that are front and center on these DDQs. This report illustrates the impact liquidating the fund would have on its gross, net, long, and short market value, and the percentage of the fund that can be liquidated immediately as compared to the percentage that would liquidate over a longer time horizon. Drilling into the results provides you with some specific holdings or information on specific holdings that would have the largest positive and negative impact on the fund's value. This type of analysis is generally helpful to proactively discuss the process and the optimal time horizons to liquidate assets if and when requested. And last but not least, performance is always important. And leading up to the performance attribution by sector report, you've demonstrated that repeatable controls are in place to handle larger pools of assets and stricter transparency requirements. This has allowed you to level the playing field against the billion and above club that point to infrastructure as a differentiator. So now you can focus on your performance. Here we're breaking it down by sector, and the symbols are holdings that roll up into each, and which ones are having the strongest positive and negative effects in the value of your fund. The granularity of the analysis allows you to tie performance back to your investment policy and discuss the processes for allocating assets to a particular sector or symbol in the future. The dashboards and reports that we've just covered are a sample set of the analytics available today from either your desktop or a mobile device of your choice. Presenting your business this way helps provide you with more fluid discussion points about your fund during the capital raise process. So our goal has been to give you a modern tool to present the information where you have full access to the underlying data in case you need access to granular data in order to justify your results today or historically. 5 years ago, your fund would have incurred substantial costs to link together performance, market, and liquidity risks along with shadow NAV calculations into a single environment. The intraday and mobility were probably both out of the question. Those were a little early in the process. The technologies weren't there yet. If we fast forward to today, modern tools are allowing you to market your fund to investors through a number of different environments, or an app in this case, that provide the most granular and up-to-date details about the business, while allowing your investor to sort of tick the institutional controls box Robert was mentioning. It's part of the DDQ process. This is a quick overview of how we do it. I'll be available after the discussion ends to field any questions you might have on analysis or any reports of the data, but for now, I'll